welcome back. Chapter 22. The bowling alley during cosmic bowling sessions reminded Dana of a disco, all loud music and flashing lights. Most of the groups of patrons included children. She bowled 2 games with Brittany, Gil, and Vanessa, but begged off when the girls wanted to play a third. Oh, come on, Mom, Brittany said in a whining tone. You promised. I'm not saying we have to leave, Britt. I'm just saying I'm not up to playing anymore. The rest of you can bowl another game. I'm sitting this one out. She handed Brittany a 5. You already had a snack, so bring my change. I think I'll sit this one out too, Gil said. He reached for his wallet. Vanessa, go pay for our game quick. Before they sell this lane to someone else. They watched as the girls rushed off to the front counter. Dana turned to Gil and signed. Sometimes I think Brittany sees me as someone who's on summer vacation like she is. It's as if she has no idea that I work 8 hours each day plus an additional 3 or 4 on my business. Bowling those 2 games wore me out. She gestured to the tall table and bar stool just beyond their designated lane area. Shall we sit? How about a nice cold beer or a glass of wine if you prefer? Wine, please. Gil went off to the bar, then returned a short time later with their drinks, a tall tumbler for his beer and a small wine glass for her. For a few moments, they simply watched Brittany and Vanessa roll balls, cheering them on and offering encouragement at those near squares and almost strikes. So, you're working hard these days, are you? Gil asked loudly because of the noisy environment. Yes, but at least I can see the results fairly quickly. I'm happy to say that business is booming. That is wonderful. I'll still miss Brittany terribly while she's away, though. Why don't we have dinner one night next week? Gil suggested. Dana looked at him through confused eyes. But Brittany is leaving for her grandmother's on Thursday. We'll be busy getting her things together. We couldn't possibly join you and Vanessa for dinner. Actually, my invitation didn't extend to Brittany or to Vanessa either, for that matter. I was thinking more in terms of a one-on-one between you and me. Oh, I didn't understand. Dana really hadn't. When Vanessa called Brittany about going bowling tonight, she said her father would be coming along too. Dana and Brittany arranged to meet them at the bowling alley. It made perfect sense for Dana for Gil to join them since Vanessa was spending the weekend at his apartment. The unexpected invitation for dinner went right over her head. As his intent sank in, she suddenly felt shy. Her feet remained firmly planted in place, but inside she was trembling. This could be a dream come true, or it could be a nightmare if Irene find out. Gil, do you really think that's a good idea? I won't pretend to not know what you mean, but let me ask you this. What does your first instinct tell you? Okay, smooth operator. Dana quickly decided that only the truth would do. I'd be inclined to accept. I'd like to accept. But as I said, I don't know how wise a choice that would be. Okay, so you like to go out with me. The fly in the ointment is, I presume, my ex-wife. You have to agree it could get rather awkward, Gil. I have a lot of contact with Irene because of Brittany and Vanessa being so close. We help each other out. I've kept Vanessa when she had something to do, and she kept Brittany for me. Dana specifically remembered caring for Vanessa on Mother's Day while Irene went to dinner with Gil. Irene came for Vanessa afterwards, beaming but typically closed-mouthed. They must have had an amiable meal, but that was all. Gil's invitation to her proved that nothing had come of it. Here she go again. First she ignored the truck, now she ignoring the fact that Irene is still in the picture. Well, for now, we're talking about one meal together, so why don't we just do it and we'll deal with Irene later. You do have another babysitter you can use. Dana let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Yes, It would hardly do to ask Irene to sit for Brittany while she went out with Gil, you think? But her teenage neighbor was usually available. All right, she said, dinner it is. Mm-mm-mm. It was nearly 11 o'clock when Dana got home, but she decided to take a chance and call Norrell, whom she knew often worked late. She desperately wanted to discuss Gil's invitation and her concerns about it with someone, and she definitely couldn't call Cece at this hour. Funny, for years the three of them had managed to have lunch together at least once a month, but since they've gone into business, they all been so busy that the only time they managed together was for CDN's weekly staff meetings. Discussions at their meetings were limited to business matters, after which they all returned to their respective home offices to work. Fortunately for Dana, Norrell answered the phone sounding wide awake. I'm just closing up shop, she said in response to Dana asking if she could spare a few minutes to talk. 11 o'clock is my limit. I want to spend some time with Vic. He's been a little testy lately, says I'm devoting too much time to CDN. Oh, that's not good. I wouldn't want CDN to put a strain on your marriage. It's not strained. Okay, Norrell said quickly. I'm just concentrating on becoming more of a morning person, getting up and starting work early like you and Cece so my evenings can be free. Dana chuckled. As I remember, when we worked in the office, you had trouble getting in by 9. Like I said, it'll take some effort. It'll be fine. So what's on your mind? Dana told her about Gil. One part of me is overjoyed that he wants to see me socially, but the other part is a little worried about how his ex will react. Isn't she the one you said is kind of cold? I wouldn't call her cold, but she doesn't have the most brilliant personality in the world. She always been pleasant, but doesn't really have much to say unless it's about the weather or something general like that. I've known Irene for at least 6 years, and I still don't have a clue about her personally. That works in your favor. You'll be right to have second thoughts about going out with Bill if you and Irene were friends. His name is Gil. Isn't that what I said? No, Norrell. You called him Bill. Dana wondered if Norrell was drinking. She said she finished work for the day, but Dana felt concerned nevertheless. She knew how unhappy Norrell had been lately. In spite of her putting on a brave face and calling Cece to wish her well, lately it seemed that Norrell drinking had escalated. She mentioned having morning headaches, and later in the day she seemed a lot more mellow than usual. Dana expected her to be as adamant against the idea of her dating Gil as she had been with Sean. Oops, sorry. Well, it might be a little uncomfortable when you see the ex-wife, but whether or not you want to cope with that is up to you. But I don't think you're doing anything morally wrong, no. What do you mean you knew it? Dana said to Cece. See, that's what I mean about how they... Okay. What do you mean you knew it? Dana said to Cece. This was bound to happen. You were with him at the beach the other week. You were in touch with him when he took Brittany to New Orleans. When you said he was going along with you and the girls when you went bowling, I knew something was in the works. Well, it looks like you were right, but what do you think about my going out with him? Cece sighed. Dana, can't you find a man to date anywhere in Jacksonville who isn't connected to your past in some way? And she said it. Start a relationship with a man you never laid eyes on before. So you don't think it's a good idea, Dana said, her voice low with disappointment. She had Norrell in her corner, even if her support came courtesy of Smirnoff, and hoped to have Cece's as well. There was a pause on the other end of the line. Dana imagined Cece was swallowing those doggone gummy bears again. It's not what I think that counts, Cece finally said. It's what Brittany and her friend's mother think. Personally, I don't think any of them would be pleased. Cece paused. Of course, If her mother knows you've been present on all those outings, she probably sensing what's coming herself. Come on, Cece, I didn't plan this. You didn't plan Sean either, did you? And look what happened. And oop. This is different. Gil isn't Sean. And you know this how? Dana signed. I just know. My instincts tell me, and I trust my instincts. Dana, please don't be offended by this, but it's not your instincts you're listening to. It's that tingling you're getting between your legs. Boom. I can't deny that has something to do with it. I'm only human, Cece. Yes, but think your instincts are Yes, but I think your instincts are steering you in the wrong direction. Cece paused. You did ask what I thought? Yes, I did, and you told me, all right? Dana changed the subject to something she'd been thinking about in recent days. Cece, why don't you and I plan to go out for dinner with Norel like we used to? We haven't been out since the day we launched CDN. I'd love to, but it's hard to find the time. I'm still working with Precise, and there's Michael, the kids, the baby, and the house hunt. Norel mentioned that Vic wasn't happy about all the time she spends working, Dana said. She tried to make light of it, but I'm worried. I don't want her and Vic to break up over this. Break up? Dana, you know how marriage is. It's full of rough patches. Michael was in a snit for weeks when he found out I was pregnant. He finally accepted it, but most of the time he still makes excuses when it's time to look at houses. He says it takes too much of his weekends and that when I find one that'll work for us, I should bring him to look at it, she signed. Well, I think Michael is being unfair. After all, you didn't get pregnant by yourself. Oh, please. If it's not my fault, then it's the doctor's fault who tied my tubes. In Michael's opinion, he had nothing to do with it. How's the house hunting going anyway? Lousy. Everything I see that's nice has too high an asking price. Gil called Dana Sunday night. How's Tuesday? Surely you can get away for a few hours. Yes, I'm sure I can. Brittany is old enough to get her clothes together. I'll just double check and make sure she's got everything. Great, I'll pick you up at 6. Dana's stomach did a somersault. Gil, you can't pick me up. Why not? Brittany might see you. So, what if she does? We aren't doing anything wrong, Dana. I agree, but I don't feel Brittany needs to know you and I are having dinner together. That's foolishness. We're single adults spending an evening together. There is nothing whatsoever inappropriate about that. Dana felt her resentment building. Gil, why don't I call you back tomorrow? She suggested tightly. I have your card. I'll call you at the office. All right. She resisted the urge to slam the phone down. Where the hell did he get off telling her what her daughter should or should not know? She glanced at her watch. 8:30. It was a cinch that Vanessa was home with Irene by now. He hadn't even called her to finalize their date until his own daughter was out of the house. Yet he wanted to flaunt their date in front of her child? It looked like Gil, the fantasy, held a lot more appeal than the real thing. Well, he had a surprise coming. Tomorrow, she'd call and cancel. And that's the end of chapter 22. And I agree with Cece. Dana should not go out with Gil because it's too close for comfort with Brittany and Vanessa being friends and Gil being Vanessa's daddy and Irene and her still associate with one another. And Irene is Gil's ex-wife. And who do Gil think he is pushing up on her that hard? I think it's going to go back to the fact that he kind of helped her get the loan or something like that. I hope it's not like a scratch my back because I scratched your back kind of situation with him. And so she better read these red flags that Gil is giving her because she had made a valid point. Like he waited until Vanessa was with Irene to call her, but he didn't seem like he cared about Brittany seeing them together. So Dana, you made a really good point, and I hope you really do cancel and don't go out with him, because yeah, that was a little bit too aggressive and inconsiderate of you and your feelings. Okay, anything else? Is Norel an alcoholic? Is something going on? I guess we shall find out. Well, until then, I'm going to have to see y'all in chapter 23. Bye.